All right, sixth grade, today we're going to talk about order of operations with integers. Okay, we've talked a lot about order of operations already this year, but just to review again, order of operations, you do everything within a grouping symbol first, then you tackle your exponents, then you tackle multiplication and division from left to right. So what I want to make sure that we're really conscious of is if you have something like this, let's say you just have 2 divided by 4 times 6. Okay, a lot of times people want to do the multiplication first because the M comes before the D in our acronym. If you only have multiplication and division, you work left to right. So you would do the division first, then the multiplication, okay? Same with following addition and subtraction. If you only have addition and subtraction left as operations, you work from left to right, okay? So let's start working through some examples of this. Example number 1, 18 minus 12 divided by 4. So order of operations. Let's first, actually, before we even talk about that, let's identify what operations we have happening here. We have subtraction and we have division. So according to order of operations, we're going to do division first. Now, super, super, super important. The way that I work through these problems, working vertically down my paper, step by step, is exactly what I expect of you to do on your homework. If you do not show your work and show your steps vertically, I will not grade it and I will return it back to you. And you will have one day to get it back to me done the right way. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. But if not, just do it exactly how I'm showing you how to do it, and you will be good to go. So 18 minus, we haven't done anything with the 18 or the subtraction because we're going to do the division first. So we have 12 divided by negative 4. 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. So now we have 18 minus negative 3. Remember, change your subtraction to addition and add the opposite. So 18 minus negative 3 becomes 18 plus the opposite of negative 3 is 3. So the answer to that is 21. Okay, example number 2. Negative 6 plus 9 minus 4 times negative 3. First, we're going to identify what operations we have. We have addition, we have subtraction, but subtraction is happening within some parentheses, and then we have multiplication happening right here. So we're going to do what's happening in our parentheses first. So negative 6 plus stays here. We haven't done anything with it yet. First thing we're going to do is 9 minus 4 because that is in our grouping symbol. So that is 5 times negative 3. Negative 6 plus, we're going to do our multiplication next because multiplication comes before addition. So negative 6 plus 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. So now we have negative 6 plus negative 15. Those are the same signs. 6 plus 15 is 21, and it is negative. That is example number 2. This is exactly how I want you guys to be showing your work. Example number 3. 8 times 3 minus negative 10 divided by 5. So we have multiplication, subtraction, and division. So we're going to do our multiplication first. 8 times 3 is 24. We are not dealing with the subtraction yet because we have multiplication and division, so we need to tackle the division first. What are we dividing? Negative 10 by 5. Negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. So now we have 24 minus negative 2. That is 24. Change your subtraction to addition and add the opposite. The opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. 24 plus 2 is 26, and I circle my answer because there's going to be a lot of work shown on your pages and you need to identify your answers. That is a requirement. Okay, example number 4. 5 minus 14 divided by 3 times 2 minus 6 in parentheses. Subtraction, division, multiplication, subtraction. There's a lot happening in this problem, okay? Tackle the parentheses, the grouping symbols first. 5 minus 14. 5 minus 14 is negative 9. Negative 9 divided by, remember, we just move left to right, but I want to tackle what's happening in those parentheses. So 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Okay, so now I have negative 9 divided by 3 times negative 4. You are going to be tempted in a problem like this to do the multiplication first. Do not do that. From here, we have division and multiplication, which means we just move left to right. So negative 9 divided by 3 gives us a negative 3 times negative 4. 3 times 4 is 12. We have a negative times a negative, so it is positive. The answer is 12. Box skill check number 1, I'm going to tackle number 3. Okay, number 3, and that is negative 36 divided by negative 6 times 2. So we have division and multiplication. Those are the only two operations in this problem. So just move left to right. Negative 36 divided by negative 6 is a positive 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. There is the final answer for that one. Number 5, 36 divided by negative 3 plus negative 6 in brackets times 2. We're going to do our grouping symbol first. 36 divided by negative 3 plus negative 6 is negative 9 times 2. We just have multiplication and division left, so we just move left to right. 36 divided by negative 9. 36 divided by 9 is 4. We have a positive divided by a negative, which means it's negative, times a positive 2. 4 times 2 is 8. We have a negative times a positive, which means our answer is going to be negative. And the answer to number 5 is negative 8. For practice, the answer to number 1 is 8. 2 is negative 1. 4 is negative 3. And 6 is 18. Okay, example number 5. Do not panic when you look at a problem like this. Yes, there's a lot of steps, but as long as you work through them carefully and systematically in order, you will be fine. So 4 raised to the power of 7 minus 5. 7 minus 5 is within parentheses, within grouping symbols. So 7 minus 5 is 2. Plus, then we have 7 times something happening in parentheses. 5 plus 1 is 6, and that is over, and remember that fraction bar is going to mean division, the absolute value of 6 minus 9. Absolute value is a grouping symbol. So 6 minus 9 is negative 3, and then we're going to take the absolute value of that. Okay, so now go ahead and raise your 4 squared, 16 plus, and you can tackle this multiplication right here. 7 times 6 is 42 over the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Now we have addition and division. 16 plus stays here because we need to do our division first. 42 divided by 3 is 14. 16 plus 14 is 30. And that is your final answer for that one. Okay? Then, lastly, we have example number 6. Again, it looks like a lot. As long as you are careful in all of your steps, you will be fine. So, square root, the radical symbol, acts as parentheses. So it's as if this is like this. It's a grouping symbol, okay? So we're going to take the square root of 5 squared minus 3 squared. So 5 squared is 25 minus 3 squared is 9 plus, and I'm going to just tackle what's happening in these parentheses. Okay, negative 2 minus 4, that's the same as adding the opposite. So that is negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6, divided by, and I have something happening in this absolute value symbol over here, which also acts as a grouping symbol, 8 minus 10. 8 minus 10, 8 plus negative 10. Okay, remember we can rewrite that as a subtraction problem where we take the absolute value of both of them. 10 minus 8 is 2. The larger absolute value is 10. We have negative. Okay, so 8 plus negative 10 is negative 2. 8 plus negative 10 is negative 2. But we need to take the absolute, well, let me just write it like that so we don't lose track of it. 8 plus negative 10 is negative 2. Okay, now going back to the square root. Square root of 25 minus 9. 25 minus 9 is 16. Okay, so we're going to end up taking the square root of that plus negative 6. I'm just leaving it like that because I haven't touched it yet. Divided by the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. Square root of 16 is 4. Now we have 4 plus negative 6 divided by 2. We have addition, and then we have division. So we're going to do our division first. 4 plus negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. 4 plus negative 3 is 1. Your answer to that is 1. I'm going to work through both skill checks here. If you want to try and practice before I work through them, why don't you just pause the video right now, work through number 1, work through number 2, and then once you have your final answers, come back to the video and check and make sure that you've got it right. So pause now, practice. Okay, I hope you're turning it back on and you have your answers. 5 raised to absolute value of 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5 is negative 2 minus the square root of what's happening under here. It's as if there's parentheses. So I'm just going to square that 4 squared. So 16 minus 7. Okay, so now I know I'm doing 5 raised to the absolute value of negative 2. So that's going to be 5 squared minus, do what's happening under your radical, because it's as if there's parentheses there. 16 minus 7 is 9. 5 squared is 25. The square root of 9 is 3. 25 minus 3 is 22. Number 2, 3 times, and we are going to tackle what's happening here in this whole thing. Okay, so we have the absolute value of 1 minus 7 plus 4. Absolute value is a grouping symbol. So 1 minus 7 is negative 6 plus 4, absolute value, over 12 plus 1/2. 3 times negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Absolute value divided by 12 plus 1/2. 3 times absolute value of negative 2 is 2 over 12 plus 1/2. Now I need to tackle this multiplication. Multiplying fractions. 3 over 1 times 2 over 12 plus 1/2. Okay? When we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. That's 6 over 12 plus 1/2. Okay, reduce 6 over 12 to 1/2, and we have a common denominator, which is glorious, because that means we just add our numerators. 1 plus 1 is 2 over, the common denominator is 2, which simplified, because we always reduce our fractions to the lowest terms, equals 1. And that is how you tackle number 2. Okay? Rules for this homework assignment. You work through every problem like this. Do not text me a question that says, do I really have to? The answer is yes. If you do not, you will not get credit for the assignment.